Hello guys, I'm so excited that finally I have just received my new book, The Bible of Bodybuilding. It's a book that consists of 400 pages. You can purchase this book on Amazon, and this book contains my former other books, The PTs Using Sports and the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, plus the Training, Nutrition, Supplementation, but also including extra features, Q&As about gear, about HRT, but also a quiz regarding supplements, diet, and of course PEDs. So the Bible of Bodybuilding on Amazon, both on ebook and Kindle version.
Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Tsoulianos, brought to you by his book, The Bible of Bodybuilding, available on Amazon.com, where you can also find this incredible book, Real Bodybuilding. And now all the way from Athens, Greece, please welcome Dr. George Tsoulianos. Hey, doctor.
You happen to watch the guest posing in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man, monsters, huh?
So who stood out to you?
Listen to me. All the aesthetic guys like Phil Heath, Sean Roden, or Brandon Curry, they're not so impressive during the offseason.
Right.
Okay. Now the mass monsters that are quadrangular, like Jay Cutler, Branch Warren, or Nick Walker, they look really impressive. This is what happens also in Greece.
Yeah.
We have some bodybuilders like Fridges, they look impressive during the offseason. But those ones with the small, tiny joints, the V-taper, they're aesthetic. They don't impress that much when they get big and out of shape,
True.
But the quality is when you are on stage on shape, so it pops out, boom.
Yeah. Everybody's freaking out about Derek Lunds for the 212 Olympia champion.
Yeah. He was like a cartoonish, man.
Looked like he was about to explode. He was so big. I think he's bigger than Nick Walker.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is not
At first
easy.
glance, I thought it was Nick and said, what the heck? I mean, his culture looked ridiculous good, because Nick, seriously, he needs to visit the vascular surgeon to see what he can do about this issue, because apart from the aesthetic, could be also the circulatory problem. But I mean, take a break for a few months, fix this thing, in order to give you the first place, because they have to do photo shooting above the knees, come on.
Yeah, even Arnold in the play-by-play, he commented on the shins, didn't he? I think. I didn't listen. I was watching the show live.
I remember
he was there
German, yes. We had the case in the past of Dennis Wolfe, but Dennis had problem in his muscles, but they were not so lack of aesthetic with varicose veins,
Yeah, I remember. Oh, Dennis Wolfe had calves that weren't that big compared to his thighs.
Yes, yeah.
But he looked fantastic. I loved his physique.
It was the most successful European after Arnold and Dorian, of course.
Yeah, I mean, third place at the Olympia was the highest he did.
First Arnold Classic and first place in US. Come on.
Yeah, 2014 he won that, the Arnold Classic. Good times. All right, let's get to some questions, Doctor. We like to start off every week with our Gus Poulos questions. Gus is our most faithful, I used to say listener, but we're not on radio. We're on YouTube, so it would be viewer. Gus Poulos, hello, doctor. After 3 weeks now on TRT, last week you made some suggestions on what I can do for my erection. Well, I did blood work and my doctor said prolactin and estrogen is normal, but my hemoglobin is extremely high. I donated blood yesterday, but my question is, will my hemoglobin return to normal levels on its own?
Yes, it will eventually. As you administrate less amount of testosterone will go down. Now, if you have apnea, sleep apnea, this is a negative factor to increase hemoglobin because it's hypoxia that kicks EPO. Another thing is to break down the 200 milligrams in smaller doses in order to avoid spiking on the HT that elevates erythrocytes. And I also suggest you to do regular phlebotomies every 2 or 3 months, because it's an obligation for people who are on testosterone, Besides, men who don't follow TRT have to donate unlike women, because we have the bone, we have the androgens. So especially when you administrate exogenous testosterone, you have to do this forever. It's an obligation.
Can steroid users donate blood, or we're not supposed to donate blood?
It's wasted. It's called phlebotomy, but they have to for the sake of their health, because the viscosity elevates.
Right. So what happens? That blood just gets thrown in the trash, wasted?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, yes. And for instance, in my case, I'm zero negative rhesus, which is a global donor. I have a treasure in my veins.
Yeah, universal donor.
Only when my hemoglobin goes below 18, I'm able to donate this to somebody.
Oh, well, you can donate blood, but like
I can, but occasionally under circumstances where my viscosity is lower, my hemoglobin is below 18. Otherwise, you're in red flag.
In the US, I think if you have tattoos, you're not supposed to donate blood.
Oh, this is a 6-month window,
Oh, okay.
Hepatitis and stuff like this.
Well, that's fair. I wouldn't want to catch hepatitis from a blood transfusion either. So next question. This is a good one because we're getting a lot of ED questions lately. Can cholesterol medicine help ED, erectile dysfunction?
In case you have atherosclerotic plaque in cavernous bodies, you can, yes, reverse the soft plaque, and then you have better blood flow this way.
Cool. Good to know, because a lot of us are on cholesterol meds. That's my statin, right?
Yeah, but you need to have a calcium score. But actually, as Thomas said, and Steve Blackman, calcium score reveals only the heart plaque. And the heart plaque is a good scenario. And the heart plaque is a result of genetics. The soft plaque is a result of bad eating habits, doing steroids, smoking perhaps. And the soft plaque is not revealed through calcium score, but only through angiography, which is putting a camera through your artery,
God.
And this is a bad scenario because the soft plaque will detach and form an embolus, and ischemic episode.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody everyone I know talks about calcium scores. Nobody's talking about.
Yeah, because the calcium score is the visible one. The non-visible, the invisible is the soft, that it can do the damage.
There's one more test we all got to take, I guess, guys. Okay. Hi, Doc. Really like the content you put out. What are your thoughts on AI's aromatase inhibitors for increasing height by lowering estrogen to 10 to 15 PCG, that picograms for 6 months?
Okay.
He's 18
This
years
guy
old.
has a point, yes.
Yeah, he's
Indeed.
18.
During puberty, endocrinologists, apart from administrating growth hormone, they can do this trick. So trick the hypophysis and the hypothalamus by lowering estrogens, and then they kick testosterone. But testosterone can make you gain this gap of centimeters that you're lacking, or inches, if you have stack, let's say. Okay, that's why an alternative why was to give oxandrolone, which is androgenic also, to speed up catching height. But if you don't do it properly, you're gonna eventually close the epiphyseal plates a bit sooner as well.
Oh boy.
So it's tricky. You have to do it properly in order to give a kick, but not close the epiphyseal plates sooner than you're supposed to.
Yeah.
In this way, by lowering the estrogens, you just kick GnRH, LH, and testosterone. That testosterone will mature the bones, because some, the criteria to go for growth hormone are really strict. They need to measure your age in the skeletal structure by X-ray. You need to be really dwarf, man. I mean, you need to be 5 feet tall in high school, let's say.
Yeah. No,
Come on, this is the Smurfs.
I started 9th grade, which was high school for me, 4'11". So maybe they should have given me some freaking growth hormone. I graduated at 5'8", but yeah, I wasn't even 5 foot. I was a Smurf. Oh man. Here's a good one. Actually, you know what? I always wonder if I should never have lifted weights so young, because I have a younger brother.
This is a myth. Yeah. Only Olympic weightlifting is able to crash the spinal cord and the vertebral column, not bodybuilding, not because as muscles grow, they kick testosterone and growth hormone that improves the whole hormonal environment, Olympic weightlifting is another thing. It's a vertical,
the spine just getting jammed all the time.
Yeah. This is totally different.
Okay. Because my younger brother, when we were in our 20s, I was 5'8" and he was 6'1" and a half. So same
Yeah,
parents.
and mind that the intervertebral discs are elastic, so they become compressed and dehydrated as we age.
Yeah, we're both
That's
a
how we
little
get shorter.
Yeah, we've both lost about an inch, both of us, me and my brother. Okay, here's a good one. To keep red blood cell count on track, is grapefruit working? I read a study on grapefruit. The working ingredient, naringen, actually helps get rid of older red blood cells faster, meaning it lowers it easier and faster. And for people with low red blood cell count, it will go higher. So it works for both. Is that true?
Yes, I read that when I was in the replacement therapy group. We spoke a lot about this thing, either the supplement or eating grapefruits,
Yeah.
But personally, I'm somebody. I had a consultation with somebody in California, and he told me that he uses hawthorn root, something like that, and that he had the dramatic drop in his hematocrit. Personally, I'm using ARB for that. That Thomas also is aware, but this is a drug, of course,
ARB. Okay.
Yeah.
This came up I did a live the other day, and I said, I don't know the right answer. You got to ask Dr. T. Want to know the top 5 health supplements for kidney, liver, heart, and cholesterol while on roids. The most important ones for steroid users to use, health supplements.
I've said that a million times. Okay. So basically it's for the heart and the liver. Now, for kidneys, you're not supposed to take something special. They say that astragalus may elevate the GFR, but the GFR also depends on muscle mass, on hydration. That hydration also reflects on creatinine, on exercise, rhabdomyolysis. Of course, blood pressure also affects the glomerulus and the creatinine. But apart from that, the most critical system is the cardiovascular, and then it's the liver.
Okay.
So for cardiovascular, we spoke about red dry yeast, polycosanol, bergamot, phytosterols, niacin, and olive oil, of course, fish oil, krill oil. And then for the liver, we have the injectable glutathione or perhaps liposomal glutathione along with N-acetylcysteine, milk thistle or silymarin, and alpha lipoic acid.
Right on. All right, cool. Next one. My father has COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. I've read testosterone therapy can help, but I'm unsure how to set up a protocol for him. He is in his early 70s and losing a ton of weight. So giving him testosterone at home without physician's assistance makes me nervous. How would you treat somebody with COPD?
Now, if this man has obstructive sleep apnea, it's contradiction for testosterone because sleep apnea is based on choking due to increased the neck circumference. Okay, but if this is pulmonary, then he should undergo apart from bronchoscopy or how you say that you perform a physical activity with the it shows how much oxygen you're utilizing.
The stress test?
The stress test, but also with
when you have the oxygen mask thing on?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It records it measures your oxygen saturation.
Yes, exactly. How much oxygen your capacity, how much oxygen you're burning, you're utilizing, assimilating. Anyway, if the problem is muscle wasting, yes, testosterone is an indication, and of course, assessing with the HPDA if there's low, if there's hypogonadism. But if this guy snores, giving testosterone is not a good idea because it will thicken up his muscles and he will make it worse unless he wears a CPAP mask that permits him to breathe properly during sleep. Because if you have sleep apnea, then you're choking, you're elevating your EPO, your hemoglobin, your hematocrit, you have low oxygen saturation in your brain, you have short-term memory, bad mood, you wake up tired, you yawn through all the day, you feel crappy. Some people are sleeping on the steering wheel,
Yeah, not good. Yeah. A lot of people, I had sleep apnea, but I lost a lot of weight. That's what helped me. But everyone I talked to that started wearing the CPAP mask, it's a life changer. Like they feel so much better. They're rested. They're just not miserable anymore because they're getting enough sleep and good sleep instead of, you can wake up hundreds of times a night when you have sleep apnea. That's terrible. Okay, here's a cycle question. We always get these. My friend was on a bulking course of Test and Deca for the first 5 weeks, and then Sustanon and Boldenone for the next 7 weeks. He completed the 3-month program and will start PCT after 3 weeks. He has a competition coming in October last, so I guess October 31st, and will start the cutting phase 3 months prior to it. During the coming 2.5 to 3 months on which he is off cycle, would it be optimal to take 50 milligrams of test, either prop or enanthate, and 25 milligrams of Deca per week for a month just before he starts the cutting phase? Or should he be completely off the gear and wait till he starts the 12-week competition prep?
I believe go off the gear to unblock your androgen receptors, because they're saturated.
Yeah.
And I find no particular benefit using so small doses of Deca or testosterone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can do a TRT course.
Right.
But I would say get off from gear in order to lower also your hemoglobin, improve your labs, and then feel fresh with your receptors,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, contest prep cycles, as we both know, they're the very heaviest and most toxic of cycles compared to off season. So I think it does make sense to try to clean out before you start that, because that's 16 weeks. We're talking trend master.
I remember Mike Matarazzo used to say he was really stressed beginning the cycle during the preparation. He was stressed out. Yeah. Oh, I have to go all through this. I mean, it was not like Alice in Wonderland. It was like an uphill walking, and a stressful situation.
Yeah, it's a lot of, people think bodybuilders.
Yeah,
people think bodybuilders love taking steroids. Most of us don't. We wish we didn't have to take them to look the way we want to look. But even a guy like Matarazzo, he didn't like taking steroids, and he was one of the most famous bodybuilders of the 90s. He was very popular. Okay. Final question, Dr. Dave V here, big fan of your work. I've watched all 162 episodes twice, and I thank you for sharing your knowledge to us TRT users here in the Philippines, as most doctors here are still closed-minded to these with paths to anti-aging. My question is, I started taking for a month now 1.5 IU of HGH twice daily. Should I cycle T4 on and off? You mentioned before that HGH lowers T4 over time. So and he has one minor question, but what do you think?
Yeah, not necessarily. Always work by labs and evidence. So watch out your free T4, free T3, and TSH levels. Now, what does growth hormone is convert T4 to T3 in a greater rate. And this way you get depleted of T4 that reflects afterwards to TSH, which is the regulator hormone. Okay, so as you speed up the process converting T4 to T3, which is the active form, you diminish of T4 that causes to elevate the TSH, meaning it's the opposite. The higher the TSH, the down regulates the gland, okay? So in such case, I'm applying selenium, 200 micrograms that improves the metabolism of thyroid,
Yeah.
And you can keep a TSH low by taking selenium if you lack of selenium, of course. But always watch out if TSH goes above 3, 2.5, then yes, if you administrate a little bit of T4, then it's good. Make sure that T3, you have to know actually that T3 is more potent than T4 and can give you some heart palpitations,
Yeah. Okay, he had a second part, very minor part. Does Cialis prevent platelet aggregation like aspirin does? Can I take it all year round so I won't have to?
No, it's not non-steroid inflammatory drugs. It improves nitric oxide, blood flow, but Cialis improves the stenosis of the prostatic portion of the urethra.
Oh.
So urologists give this if you have a BPH that doesn't enable you to initiate the peeing process,
Oh, so Cialis can help in that aspect too?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's great
and
news.
Take it every other day because it's a 48-hour half-life drug.
Yeah.
And yes, they take 5 milligrams every other day or 3 times a week, and they have perfect urinary blood flow, plus they have a good erection.
Well, I mean, these are important things for
that those drugs are taken on stage also.
Oh, yeah.
Muscularity.
Sure. I mean, I know I remember many years ago, Hidetada Yamagishi, the pro bodybuilder from Japan, he was arrested, unfortunately, coming from Japan into Los Angeles airport because he was bringing some drugs with him. And one of them was Viagra. And he wanted to make sure everybody knew it's not for sex, it's for bodybuilding, it's for the pump and everything. Because people like, they're looking at the list of drugs he was caught with. It was, like a few different steroids, and one of them was Viagra, which is, very similar in action to Cialis. And that's a lot of bodybuilders take a low dose Cialis every day for the pump. I do. I've been doing it now for about 6 months.
Really?
Better. I get way better pumps because I don't get the
really?
same. Yeah.
Well, listen, Ron, this is for the vascularity. The pump is a matter also of glycogen retention.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're following ketosis, there's no way that you can have you're filled up with glycogen. So I guess vascularity.
Oh, I'm not a keto guy. I love my carbs.
Yes.
I love my carbs. I love them. So anyway, that is it for this week. Guys, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, hit the notification bell. And if you have questions for the doctor for next week, leave them underneath here in the comments section below. Doc, I'm headed to Indianapolis in a couple of days for the Indy Pro. It's shaping up to be a good show. I always like going out there. It's only got 3 divisions: men's bodybuilding, 212 bodybuilding, and women's bodybuilding for the pros.
You're always competing in the open class?
Yeah, Justin Rodriguez is defending his title. Charles Griffin is in it. We got Brent Swanson making his pro debut. It's not too many big names.
Steve Tugler, no.
No, Dorian Haywood.
Steve got engaged,
Oh, he got engaged. Good for him.
Steve
was the winner of that show for the first 2 years they held it, 2018 and 19. Steve Kukla. Yeah, but it's a good time. Promoter Dave Bauer is a great guy. He treats everybody well, the fans, the athletes, the media. So I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, that's it. Thank you, doctor, for sharing all your info and expertise as always. And everybody, that's it. Please check us out next week right here again for Ask Dr. Testosterone. We'll see you later.